Hey there, my name is Chand and welcome back. In this video, we will talk about the for statement. Now, the for statement in Java could be used to repeat a specific set of statements for a specific number of time. So in fact, in short, we are looping through couple of statements based on our condition. So that's something interesting. Now, the first question that could come in your mind that why should we need a loop? Now let me show you a very simple and easy to understand scenario where we would like to print the number from 1 to 10 and we would be printing this on our console. So pretty simple, right? So in here we can make use of sysout and we will be displaying 1. So as we would like to display from 1 to 10, I will paste these statement couple of times and I will update the value to 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this seems to be good enough, right? And we can again do one more thing in order to reduce our effort. We can do things like this. We can say 6/n, which is a new line character, 7/n, 8/n, 9, and finally /n10. So this could be again a solution. Let me print the program and the output is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? So our program is working properly and we had required in total 6 statements to achieve this target. But now imagine if we would like to print these number from 1 to maybe 1000, then the task would be tricky, right? And it would be cumbersome. If we would like to update some information and for example now after some days we would like to print from 25 to 1025, then definitely we need to modify our program quite a bit. Now in order to solve these kind of problem, a loop could be a very good solution. So first of all, we will check the for loop. There are a couple of more types of loop which we will check in our forthcoming videos, but as of now we will simply make use of couple of statements and our task would be done. So firstly, we need to initialize a variable. For example, I say int I equals maybe 1. So this is the initialization part. The second part in the for loop is the condition. So we need to give a stopping condition. After a certain period of time, the condition should be false. So the condition should be I is less than equals to 10. So the condition would be false as soon as the value of I exceeds the value 10. And moving forward, we will simply increment the value of I one by one. So we are simply stepping up the value of I after every iteration. Now moving forward, we can simply play a track and achieve a target. We will simply print the value of I and our target would be achieved. So here is the output. So this is as simple as this. In fact, with changing simply one value of the variable, for example, if I make this as 1000, our task of printing number from 1 to 100 would be also achieved. So this is simply amazing. Likewise, we can also change the starting value of I. Maybe I make it from 900 maybe. Again, the target would be achieved. So this is amazing that how easily by making use of loop we can control things and achieve the target. And this is the reason why loop is highly used in programming language, and loop is something you must understand properly how a loop is working. This is very important. Now, for example, this is a loop where we are simply checking out the condition from I equals to 900 to 1000. We can do much more than this. For example, if we would like to reverse the loop and we need to print from 1000 to 1, how we can achieve it? Definitely it could be easily done. I will initialize the variable I as 1000 and I will check that whether I is greater than or equal to 1 maybe. Alright, and I will decrement the value of I in every iteration. So whenever there would be a iteration, the value of I would be printed on our console. So here is the reverse loop. Now let us quickly understand that how exactly it's working. So first of all, the initialization part would be done. So first of all, this variable I would be initialized with maybe 1000, right? And then we are checking the condition. Now as the value of I is 1000 currently, I is greater than or equal to 1, definitely the current value of I is 1000, so the condition is true. Moving forward, we would be simply printing the statement which is inside this code block, and after each and every statement is been printed on our console, lastly we would be decreasing the value of I by 1. So in the next iteration, the value of I would be 9999. So in the next iteration, we won't reinitialize the variable I, rather we will simply check the condition whether I is greater than or equal to 1. Well, the condition is again true, so definitely we will print all the statements which are there inside this code block, and then we would be decreasing the value of I once again. Alright, so moving forward, we can also add in a yet another statement in here in order to demonstrate you guys that there is absolutely no restriction how many statements should be there inside a loop. So in here I will type in, for example, in between pair of double quotes, I can type in value of I colon. So this seems to be good enough. Let me execute this statement, and this is working perfectly. Alright, so in here I am making use of print so that these two lines should be printed in the same line. So println will print the statement in the next line, whereas print will print the statement in the same line. Alright, so this seems to be good enough for me, and moving forward there are a couple of more things which we will be discussing. In here, this particular part is in fact optional. Let me show you. In place of int I equals to 1000, we can also do this in this way. I can type in int I equals to 1000 and add in the semicolon, and in place of this int I equals to 1000, I can simply skip that and our program will working properly. So again, this is perfectly all right. So this is amazing, and let me do one more thing. Let me do it from 1 to 10 in order to give you a better visibility. Alright, now in fact this condition part is also optional. I can do it like this. I can add in a explicit condition inside the for loop, and the condition could be like this. I can type in if I is smaller than equal to 1, and in between this if block we will simply make use of a break statement. So from our switch case lecture, we also know the usage of break. Now in here the usage of break would be little different, and in fact the loop would be terminated as soon as it will encountered with this break. So again this will work. Here we go. So the output is perfect. So both of the first part and the second part for the for loop is optional, and in fact the third part is also optional. I can also cut this from here and for example add in this one minus statement at the end of the loop so that our loop works properly and our loop will work properly. So we can like play around with for loop for our convenience, but the best placement of keeping these statement is inside the parentheses of for loop. Why? Because if we goof up with the placement of these elements of the for loop, then definitely your loop could work in a different manner which is not expected to you. So there is some difference when we make use of these elements somewhere else. The best placement is like this. So this is the simplest way of achieving the target which we have already achieved. So these were a couple of things with for loop. Now moving forward, let me also show you how to generate a infinite loop using a for statement. Now what is a infinite loop? An infinite loop is a loop where the condition is always true and the loop will go on and on and on, which is a nightmare for a programmer. But sometime even infinite loop could be useful for a programmer if the logic asks for. So let me also show you what is the easiest way to like achieving an infinite loop, and here is our infinite loop. Pretty simple, right? So let me print some weird text in here. The text would be like testing text, and as soon as we like execute this particular loop, our system would be not responsive and there won't be any output because the loop is going on and on and on. And how I can, what we say, prove this? If I try to highlight anything, it won't help us to highlight. And let me, what we say, stop this, and then I should get something on the web page. In fact, there is nothing. Let me do one thing. Let me add in a println in here. That should give us, yes, so it is giving us a proper output. So now this is an infinite loop. The texting text is getting printed very fast and our system is not responding that good, in fact, because of the infinite loop. And we can hit this red button to terminate this program, and that will stop our infinite loop. Alright, so this was it for today's lecture. And the for loop is very interesting, and for newbies and for beginners, understanding loop could be little tricky. So my suggestion is to create a short program, and let me give you a challenge program that would be your homework. Alright friends, so your task for this video is create a program which would be capable of finding whether a value inside a variable is prime or not. Let me show you the definition of a prime number. So if you Google for prime number, here is the result. A prime number is a number that is divisible only by itself and 1. For example, 5. 5 could be divided by 1 or 5, where the remainder would be 0, right? So here are a couple of examples. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 are prime number. So we need to check programmatically whether a value inside a variable is prime or not. And here is the hint how you can code this program. First of all, you need to like create a variable. For example, int is prime, and a user can initialize the value of this variable by anything, for example 25. And moving forward, you need to add in a for loop. Now this particular for loop could be based on a variable like I, and we can initialize the I variable from like 2. Then we need to add in a condition, and definitely you can move forward and increase or decrease the value of the variable based on your requirement. And inside this, what we say, a loop body, you must decide whether the value inside this variable is prime or not. So we will be checking out whether the value inside this variable is prime or not, right? So this is how we would be coding this program. Little confusing though, but you have to, what we say, research on prime numbers in order to get it done. In our next video, we will check how we can code this program, which would be little interesting. So let me undo all these changes first of all, and then we would be like checking it out in the greater detail in our next video. Alright, so I would be catching you in the next video. Take care and do check out this particular example by yourself. Thanks for watching. Take care.